If you want easy dinner ideas for your family that everyone will actually enjoy, but you don't want to mess around with complicated ingredients or fancy cooking, you will love these 7 quick family-friendly recipes. Now, this first one is called creamy beef pasta, and when I first made this for my kids, they absolutely smashed it and asked for more. First thing we're going to do is just chop up a red onion and some pepper. As always with these recipes, if you've got other veggies in the fridge and you want to include them, chop them up as well and just bung them all into the pan. But we're going to get a large pan, heat some oil in it on a medium heat and fry those veggies until they start to soften. We're then going to add in our lean 5% fat minced beef. You could use turkey mince if you wanted as well, but it's creamy beef pasta. It'd be weird if it was creamy beef pasta with turkey. Anyway, you get the drift. Cook that until it is brown. Add in 100 ml of water along with some red pesto. That's super yummy. It gives it a real concentrated flavour. A can of chopped tomatoes, mixed herbs or Italian seasoning if you're across the pond, some salt, a little bit of garlic puree, and you're just going to mix that through until it's nicely combined. Reduce the heat down to a simmer, pop the lid on it and give it about 35 minutes. Then when it is pretty much done, add in your cream cheese for the yummy creaminess and mix all of that through. Also, I should say, while this is cooking, it'd be a good idea to cook your pasta at the same time. If you're enjoying what you're seeing so far, make sure to hit that like button. Once it's ready, add the sauce into the pasta and mix it all through before serving it. Don't go pasta with a dollop of sauce on top. It looks way better if you combine it first, and obviously it's going to taste a lot better if you add a little bit of cheese on top as well. Hope you like this one and be prepared for clean plates all round. Next up is the classic takeaway recipe, chicken fried rice. This one we're cooking at home. It's going to cost a fraction of what you pay for it. Less calories, less grease, and probably tastier, to be honest. It's also an excellent way of using up leftover roast chicken. If you don't have any leftovers from the weekend, just fry off some chicken thighs, remove it from the pan and set aside. In the same pan, we're going to add a finely sliced onion along with some spring onion. Keep the green parts because we'll use them for garnishing a little bit later. And then we're going to fry them just for a minute or so until they soften. It won't take long. Move to the side of the pan. And this is the key for doing fried rice. You want to let the egg sit for a bit. Don't start scrambling it. You don't want scrambled egg fried rice. You want to let the egg bubble up and then chop it up with your spatula so you've got thin slices. Then you can combine it all before adding in your cooked rice. Make sure you've cooked it the day before and left it in the fridge to dry out. You want to use dry rice, definitely not hot, wet rice that you freshly cooked. It just won't work. Add in the other ingredients, mix it all through for a couple of minutes and plate it up. All of these recipes, you will find them in my high protein recipes app, so you don't need to write it all down. You can just download the app. There's a link to get it in the description below. So there you go, that's it on the table, probably quicker than it would have taken you to get to the takeaway. In my opinion, tray bakes are absolute winners when you want something quick and easy during the week that just all cooks on the one baking tray. It saves washing up. You can cook loads of veggies like this. We're using really bright, colourful ones that we've got in the fridge. We're going to season it with some rich flavouring. We're using smoked paprika along with some dried oregano, olive oil just to drizzle on top and stop everything burning and to help it cook. And then we're going to season with a little bit of salt and fresh black pepper. You get all of that mixed through, just get nicely combined. Obviously you could use other veggies as well. These are just the ones I'm using, tomatoes, onions, courgettes and so on. But if you had some aubergine, that would work pretty well too. You could also put mushrooms in it. But just get them combined, and then we're going to add our sausages on top. I'm using lean chicken sausages. If you're not that bothered by calories, you could just use, full fat pork sausages or beef sausages, but I'm trying to keep the calories down, so I'm using chicken sausages. Pop that in the oven for about 30 minutes or so until everything is cooked all the way through. We're going to garnish it with some fresh basil because you always take the first bite with your eyes and just get stuck in. Absolutely delicious. Hope you enjoy this one. Now we're on to the next recipe, which is a chicken and chorizo risotto. So folks might say, Scott, that's not risotto, that's just chicken and chorizo paella. Well, no, because in a traditional paella you don't have chorizo, and this is served much wetter than a paella. Paella is typically pretty dry. Anyway, we're going to heat our pan on a low heat to start with and add the chorizo and onions. If you start on a low heat, the chorizo will release enough oil, you won't really need to add anything to it. Once that's cooked, we're going to add in our garlic and give that a further 30 seconds frying or so before adding in our chopped up chicken breast. You could use chicken thighs if you want, but I'm using chicken breast for this recipe. Season it with some smoked paprika, plenty of black pepper, and you're going to fry that just to get some colour on the chicken. It doesn't need cooked all the way through at this stage. That will happen when we add in our liquid. If you happen to be cooking this with an opened bottle of white wine, now would be the time to add in a little splash of it just to simmer down and give it even more flavour. Then you're going to add in your risotto rice, just uncooked risotto rice obviously, some chicken stock, and we're going to mix all that through until it's nicely combined. We're going to drop the heat down to a simmer, and you're going to keep stirring this for about 20 minutes or so until all the liquid has pretty much been absorbed, and keep testing your rice to make sure it is cooked through. Garnish with some fresh parsley, mix it up like this. It's looking like a plate of summer already, and then all you need to do is just get it plated up. I like this with a nice fresh salad, and if you did happen to open a bottle of wine to cook with, now would be the time to have a glass as well. Right, next recipe, tuna pasta bake. Super easy midweeker, this one. So I'm making this with gluten-free pasta because my wife has an intolerance, but you can use any kind of pasta you like, season it with salt and pop that on the boil. Then you're going to get your large pan, add your butter and make a roux. So we're adding butter, milk and flour, and we're going to whisk that till it's nice and soft and you don't have any lumpy bits, before adding in our can of chopped tomatoes, mixed herbs or Italian seasoning if you're in the US, 2 cans of tuna, some sweet corn, salt and pepper. Mix all of that through, and we're just going to give that a simmer for about 5 to 10 minutes until the tomatoes have broken down, smelling delicious. Add in your cooked pasta and mix it all through before transferring to a dish that you can pop in the oven, like this lasagna dish that I'm using. We're going to top with lighter cheese or full fat if you're not arsed about the calories. And then we're going to pop this in the oven or under the grill until all the cheese is melted, garnish with some parsley, plate up and get stuck in. This one chills like an absolute dream, and I often like it quite cold the next day, straight from the fridge. The next easy dinner idea for your family is this honey chili chicken. Total belter of a fakeaway, and despite the name, it isn't really that spicy, and I'll show you how to adapt it depending on who you're cooking for. First thing to do is get your chopped chicken breast and add your dark soy sauce along with some rice vinegar or white wine vinegar if you don't have rice vinegar, some corn flour and then some pepper. You're going to mix all of this through before popping it in the fridge and letting it marinate for about 15 minutes to half an hour. You could leave it a little bit longer, but it won't need that long. Then you're going to heat your wok on a high heat, add some oil and then add that chicken. Fry that chicken until it's cooked through, probably somewhere between 5 to 10 minutes. Just make sure that the juices are no longer pink in the middle and it is piping hot. And then you're going to just set it aside, and we're going to pop the wok back on the heat before adding in a couple of veggies. So for this one, I'm going to use some peppers using mixed colours, green and red. And then we're going to just fry them until they've softened. It probably won't need any oil, but you can add some more if you want to. It just depends on the kind of pan you're using. Equal measures of garlic and ginger paste along with some chilies. You can keep these out if you don't want any heat. You can add more if you want a bit of heat. It's totally up to you. I normally cook 1 chili or so, and my kids are pretty okay with it. Give that about 30 seconds to a minute, and then you're going to add the chicken back into the wok along with some tomato puree, tomato ketchup. I'm actually using the reduced sugar kind, but you can use full sugar, totally up to you, doesn't make any difference to me, along with a tablespoon and a half of honey. You have to put this in, don't try and use some sweetener. It's called honey chili chicken after all, and you're just going to cook that for about 30 seconds till everything is coated in the sauce, and then you just need to plate it up. This goes really well with rice. I particularly like it with noodles, however, and that's my favourite. We're going to garnish it with the green part of spring onion and some sesame seeds. If you don't have any sesame seeds, it's a really easy way to level up your food presentation. You just sprinkle them on top and they just add so much more colour and texture and make the recipes look more interesting. That's my little food styling hack for you. All you need to do now is get stuck and enjoy, and like I said, you'll get this recipe in my app, link in the description below. Last but not least, Turkish honey and apricot chicken. This is a recipe that I had on my holiday in Turkey. It was absolutely delicious. I went up for seconds, and it was one of those live cooking demos, so I asked the chef for the recipe and he was more than happy to share it with me. So this is how he cooked it. Heat your oil in your wok on a medium to high heat, add in your chicken and season it with black pepper. You're going to fry that until it is pretty much cooked all the way through, and then add in your chicken stock, flaked almonds, lots of cinnamon, some dried apricots. You could use sultanas if you're not a fan of dried apricots. Lots of honey as well, and you're just going to mix that through, keep it on a high heat, reduce it down until it is nice and thick and coating the chicken. For serving this, I particularly like having it with couscous and lots of veggies. We're going to garnish it with some green, obviously. But I hope you enjoyed this recipe, and I hope you've enjoyed all the recipes I've shared with you. Thank you so much for watching them, and make sure to follow me for more high protein recipes, and we'll hopefully see you back on the channel again soon.